It's super interesting, and part of the thing that's interesting is the fact that the left is celebrating this guy like he's a hero. I mean, you had that Taylor Lorenz chick from formerly Washington Post, and then she moved to Vox, and then she just got fired from Vox either today or yesterday or something. And she is like all over her social media. I think Pedo Sky is the one that she uses the most now, where she's retweeting all of these things about him being a hero and how she wants to have his babies, because I doubt there's anybody else that would ever want to have her babies. So
I haven't been following Taylor. Let me see if I can pull something up while you...
and so, I mean, you look at that, this is, I have not seen, it really shows how violent the left has gotten at this point, where they are cheering on somebody for assassinating somebody in cold blood in the middle of the street. This comes after, obviously, earlier this year, where the rhetoric almost got Trump killed twice, at least twice that we know of. And it's wild that this is now acceptable.
No, but what's amazing is I was going to needle Andrew Yang because he puts out tweets, like violence is never the answer. And I was like, normal people, normal political parties don't need to say murder is not the answer. It's not like it goes without saying. The fact that you have to say it, and I was going to say it, like, if you're on the political side where you have to say murder is bad, you're on the wrong political side. Dude, I didn't hear this. Let me see if I got the right clip here. End wokeness seems to have... Okay, I won't play the whole thing, but...
I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband. He's a father. He's been gunned down in the middle of Manhattan.
She's going to hell. She's already there.
Of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans who died because greedy health insurance executives...
She is a terrorist sympathizer. I mean, this is the terrorist rationale.
I mean, this is literally an act of, I mean, the entire... Look, based on what's been reported so far, okay, let's say that this stuff is true. It was an act to send a message to literally terrorize people into... fitting into it. It seems like there were the reports on the manifesto earlier that this guy apparently had on him when he was arrested at the McDonald's, talking about people over profits, and that the healthcare industry, that the only answer to this was violence because he had to send a message. That is terrorism. Am I wrong on that?
It's violence against civilians for the purposes of promoting a political ideology.
Right.
I mean, I think that's the definition of terrorism. The only question is going to be, like, they say, like, it can't be racism unless it's prejudice with power, which is why some people say black people can't be racist. So they're going to say, well, it can't be terrorism if it's the little people doing it against the big people. Although that's the definition of it. But right. It's whatever it is. It's murder. The woman is a batshit crazy lunatic, period. Well,
and I don't know why somebody like her isn't on the terror watch list. Why is it, parents at school board meetings? It's not Taylor Lorenz. I know Libs of TikTok actually posted something a little bit ago showing a screenshot of the profile when it first came out. When we first, because we have a group chat, a bunch of us, and that was sent as soon as we found out, before we'd even posted about who the guy was. We had found his X profile. Lo and behold, the only person that we saw that we had a mutual follow with was Taylor Lorenz. She just happened to be following the guy before the account blew up. And I mean, it's like, how did that coincidentally happen? I don't know. I mean,
check this out. Hold on a second. Let me make sure that I'm not having my... Okay, no, make sure. I got the tweet that references. Apparently, he was found with the manifesto. Some people are saying this is all very, very suspicious. He gets
caught very convenient. I mean,
with the manifesto at a McDonald's, knowing that he's on the run. But apparently, the manifesto had a line in it saying, "I do apologize for any strife or trauma, but it had to be done. These parasites had it coming." That actor from 21 and 22 Jump Street, I think it's Franco's brother. Kind of looks exactly like him. Yeah. So allegedly found with a man. This is an accused. He's not. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really even look like the guy in the video. But a
lot of people are saying that too.
I presume they know who they arrested and they know he's the suspect. Still a suspect.
Apparently they didn't have this guy on the radar either. They weren't looking at this guy. It just so happened because they got a 911 call at an Altoona McDonald's in the middle. I don't know if anybody know. If you know what Altoona is, Altoona, Pennsylvania is quite a small town. It's not a large. It's not like a big metropolis in Pennsylvania. And so he just happened to be there. Somebody called the police, and that's how NYPD was not tracking this guy.
I'm trying to find his Twitter. Okay, Greg is funny in a way that is acceptable under the circumstances. Just so you thought Luigi Mangione's day couldn't get any worse, his account is now suspended. I know I screen grabbed it because what's wild is I was looking at it and his account just kept on garnering tens of thousands of followers. I got to show the screen grab, not to show the account. Quick break from the video for a word from our sponsor, Chuck Norris. Peeps, have you wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I saw a video of him recently and I was shocked. He's in his 80s, still kicking butt and still staying active. What's even more shocking, he's stronger, can work out longer, and has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by making just one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing it and she's never felt better. She said she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure to watch it to the end by going to chuckdefense.com/Viva or by clicking on the link in the description below. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, it's chuckdefense.com/Viva, defense with an S, or click on the link in the description. Just a reminder that the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years young and he still has more energy than 99% of Americans out there. He did this by making certain changes to his health and focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. Watch his strategy by watching the video, chuckdefense.com/Viva. Back to the vlog. But just to show things that don't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, his profile picture was the picture of a legend. How the hell did it, if it's the same guy, how the hell did it take this long? Like there's basic facial recognition software that would have been able to pull those eyes from that Twitter avatar. His parents know what he looks like. His friends know that what he like. I'm suspicious, but I'm not going to say that it's not the right guy. It's just it's very weird. But
it is very weird, and I don't know why. If using those images this guy was pretty obviously full of himself. If you look at the Instagram is probably taken down the profile as well by now, but it's full of pictures of him, full of facial pictures, and so. You'd like to think that the FBI, that we give, $30 billion to a year, I don't know, something crazy like that, they don't have the ability to use advanced facial recognition software to pull that. I mean, I would at least think that the intelligence agencies would have a little bit more of an ability to do it than just a random reverse image search on Google, but apparently not. And I don't know if you saw the photo that was produced that NYPD actually released of the fake ID, where it's a real photo of him. So if this hostel actually, it's on my X if you want to see it. But
yeah, I'm going to go grab it now. Sortor.
If NYPD if the hostel, which I don't know if you ever stayed at like a cheap hotel or something like that, a lot of times they take a photocopy of your ID, right?
Yeah.
And I would be shocked, especially in New York City, if they didn't do that in this situation. So if the FBI had this that you've got on the screen right now and have an actual picture of him like they do on this fake ID, even if the ID is fake, they should be able to use that for facial recognition because that picture,
it doesn't look like the same. I mean, the eyes, like I'm right now, because I was looking at the eyes. You can see the cursor. This eye is much more narrow than this eye, and I believe I would have seen that looking at. Okay,
going back to it, that's why these people are in the comment sections being like, "Well, I don't know if it's even the same guy." It's like there's so many questions raised, and nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts these law enforcement agencies at this point, and for good reason. So questions, we need some answers to these questions. This seems a little ridiculous.
There was when I was
you found them before the FBI did.
Well, yeah. Let me bring this one up here. This is Malcolm Flex and Mike Benz also. By the way, I got Mike Benz coming in studio Thursday. Everybody, Mike Benz 12:30 at the local studio. It's gonna be amazing. So Malcolm Flex says, "Holy crap! The UnitedHealth assassin, alleged Luigi Mangione reposted me and Mike Benz." I was looking through his Twitter feed. Before it got nuked. I didn't know it had gotten nuked. And he actually retweeted or reposted a lot of Anthony Huberman stuff. I mean, so the guy, I've got my theory. The running theories right now is that he was a leftist manifesto hating the big corporations, ideologically indoctrinated computer programmer, whatever. There's on his profile, there was a picture of a neck with a metal insert, like a back surgery.
Yep.
So people are suggesting or hypothesizing that he either had back pain, or he did the surgery and it didn't resolve anything. He might have been out of pocket, so he was angry at the health coverage. Other people, I think, were hypothesizing that the surgery itself could lead to some psychotic episodes. I don't know if you had heard that or if I had misunderstood something. And I just noticed that one of the things that he retweeted was from Huberman, which dealt with the use of certain types of drugs on the basis that they are safer than alcohol, for example. So check this out.
An article about relative drug risks for the person and for society. And this was like, he was on the UK's like British drug policy group, where essentially what he showed was if you look at societal risk plus personal risk and you combine those two, you know what drug is the most dangerous drug in the world?
Making me want to have a martini.
I guess it's alcohol.
It's alcohol.
Okay.
Right behind heroin and cocaine and and somewhere in the middle is marijuana, and right on the tail end, on the exact other end of this, psilocybin. An article,
psychotropics, and then he had reposted this or retruthed. No, it's not retruthed. It's X. So I have my theories that the guy is probably above average brain, and it might have been broken by drugs or a psychotic episode, manic bipolar, something along those lines. But apparently after his surgery, he just fell off the map, even to friends and family.
Yes.
And until this, he hadn't posted since June on his Twitter feed.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually search his Twitter handle as well, you'll see that people were like, he had a friend reaching out to him in like July saying that, hey man, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Like, you're supposed to be in my wedding. And I really need your help with that, but I need you to get back with me. How are you? Is everything okay? You disappeared. And that was back in July. I mean, so that's not, there's been a lot of fake stuff floating around, but you can't fake that unless it's a big conspiracy. Then, that sort of tells a little bit of a story about how he dropped off the grid and nobody knew. And I guess that's one of the reasons that apparently his friends and family didn't turn him in, because he was already off the map. And so it wasn't weird that he just wasn't around anymore. I don't know. I mean, this is a very bizarre story, but I can't help but wonder. I know somebody floated this a little bit ago talking about, what the U.S. government did with MK Ultra back in the day.
It has its roots up in
Ted Kaczynski, talking about back the Unabomber.
Yep.
Right. I mean, he was the subject of an MK Ultra experiment, and this isn't like this isn't a conspiracy. Like, this is now public record. It's now declassified, and this guy happened to be a weirdly interested in Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, leaving reviews on his, I don't have it in front of me right now, but leaving reviews on his book on Amazon or Goodreads, I think it was, that said, sometimes the answer to or the fixes to these problems is violence. And so he said that publicly back when he left a review on Ted Kaczynski's book. You'd think that, maybe that would be a red flag. I don't know. I mean, that's just me. That seems like I probably won't get to that guy. But we're going to find out. Watch, it's going to come out at some point. They're going to say, as always, every single time they're going to say,
on the radar.
On the FBI's radar.
Yep.
Yeah, every single time.
No question. And for everybody who MK Ultra, Ted Kaczynski, everybody should read the book Chaos. I listened to it on Audible. Back in the day when intelligence was testing LSD on people, unbeknownst to them, it's there's no question. There's something a little bit more suspicious to all of this. And I was thinking and musing, the next level conspiracy theory is intelligence using a guy like this to effectively, it's no longer a race war. Now it's sort of like a class war. Try to do what they were trying to do with Manson back in the 60s, or whenever he committed the LaBianca murders, the Tate LaBianca. They try to get a class war going. Get these lefty unhinged lunatics, brainwash them, do whatever, break them, and then have them kill a rich CEO and drive this social class war into the next level, leading right up to a Trump presidency.
Right. And why this is what makes him an even more interesting suspect here is that he came from a very wealthy family. His high school, I think he was a valedictorian at his high school. And that high school was a private high school in Maryland that cost $40,000 per year. $40,000 per year. And then he went on to get an Ivy League education. And so it's not the suspect that you would have, typically. I know there's something odd about that. But I know that there are a lot of these rich kids that come out that are like, they somehow, because they've been so privileged their entire life, they're like anti-capitalist all of a sudden because they don't realize the effects of socialism.
Well, I mean, a lot of the Antifa type kids.
That's what I mean. They're rich kids. Yeah.
Well, it's wild. That is the latest on it. So he's arrested. Did he have the weapon on him? I should say the firearm. I read. I don't know what to believe anymore. And if I don't see it with my own eyes, I don't believe it. But then even then, sometimes, hold on, who was it that wrote it? It's here, Richards. Okay, I don't know if that's even the right tweet. Someone said he was found with the weapon or with the gun on him, and I don't know if that's true.
Well, so I don't really know. There seems to be some conflicting stories here because he didn't. Obviously his weapon that he was using was silenced, and the Glock. I briefly glanced at it, and it looked like a standard 9mm Glock that didn't have a silencer attached to it, and then the NYPD came out and said they found him with a 3D printed weapon, a 3D printed gun that was a ghost gun. And so it's like, I don't even know what the stuff that the NYPD has been saying versus what the FBI has been saying versus what, the Pennsylvania police have been saying. It doesn't mesh very well together right now, which is another reason to be a little bit suspicious. And so I don't know if it was the weapon or a weapon. I'm not sure.
Okay. And now this is, I'm putting two dots together here that it said his ghost gun will determine apparent ghost gun. This is out of New York. This is the same state that just locked up Dexter Taylor for ghost guns because he assembled his own firearms in his apartment. And and Barnes and I were talking about it. What day is it today? It's Monday. It was yesterday. Where they're saying there could be multiple levels to this in terms of which angle they want to politicize. If they're going to go with the ghost gun angle now, use it to go after the other method of manufacturing, making firearms. If they want to drive a wedge in rich versus poor, or the war on healthcare, or terrorize CEOs of healthcare companies into some form of submission, there's a number of ways this can go. But the first question is it the same guy? Was it the same weapon? Was it a ghost gun?
Yep.
And it did not look like a ghost gun. What he had the silencer on, that would be next level wild.
Unless something has changed in the past, hour or so, it doesn't seem like they've officially charged him with anything but gun crimes at this point. He did make a court appearance, and he was charged with a gun crime. That's what we have the extent of right now. I don't even know if they're officially calling him a suspect in the assassination at this point, which is really weird given that NYPD drove all the way out there to Altoona, Pennsylvania, hours away from New York City. And they spent hours with him, and they still aren't calling him a suspect.
No, they call person of interest, charged with 5 crimes in Pennsylvania. Dude, look, I don't want to sound like that crazy person.
I don't either. I'm just saying.
It's not the same. It's not the same person. Unless his eyebrows doubled in size. Hold on, I got to.
The matter of, how many days, 5 days.
Well, I mean, they say stress makes hair grow. He's been charged with 5 crimes: carrying a gun without a license, forgery, falsifying identity of himself, and possessing instruments of a crime. Okay, hold on. Let me just go ahead and do this because I don't believe. I have to go. I'm going to do side by side afterwards. It's not. Hey, but it's gonna be the twist of the day. Wrong guy, but they got him on some. Wrong guy. He just really looked like him.
This would be, it would break this story wide open if it was all of a sudden that this guy was some sort of plant or he was a lookalike that was intentionally, because if you keep in mind the guy hasn't spoken, but he also hasn't said a word or anything either. Like, he's just totally silent, hasn't said a word to anybody. Apparently, I don't know. Is
Digmar says, look at the mouth. Oh, in the smile. Maybe I think. Do this. There's no way. Hold on. Well, let me do this while we're live. Go to here. Let's go CEO assassin smiling, because the picture. That's a really. I can't. That's even the autocorrect images of the here. Oh, you sons of New York Times making me. All right, here we go. This is it. We're gonna see. Apparently, the chat has asked me to make. Okay, here. Let's do this. Let's just do a quick side by side. CEO assassin alleged. So this guy's smiling right here. The curls in the lip. Maybe they curl. Okay, fine. And then let's go to. Remember that memory banquet, and we'll go back to this one. Look at those eyebrows. Look at those eyebrows.
So I put just if you go to my X real quick and pull it up, I did put I posted 2 photos side by side.
Yep.
Of him, that photo side by, so you can look at it just at the same time side by side, and make up your mind. That I'm not sitting here trying to plug my X.
Plug it. I'm not plugging it enough. Hold on, let me get it here. Sortor here. Nick Sortor. Okay, let's see. Side by side right here. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, we're gonna go like toggle back and forth. The chat saying maximize the size of it. Okay, so we got this. Oh, you got a little zoom in on his eyes, and this.
I think if you just click on the tweet itself, it'll put them both in like preview frames. But
yeah, but I want to get a zoom, like a close look at the eyebrows. Look at the distance between the two eyebrows, dude. Look at the distance between the eyebrows. That is, now it could be.
Look at the photo on the side there by Zeno there on the sidebar. You can compare the eye. Like, there you go. There's your eyebrows in both photos.
And if we do like this,
yeah,
I can guess we go like that.
Yeah, I mean it. I don't know. The complexion is different. The chin,
yeah, but it could there could be sharpening.
The line is different. Wow. Typically you look at these photos and be like, yeah, that's the guy. That's for sure the guy. Especially because your brain is telling you that, okay, well, the police have now said that it's like, yeah, that's the guy. That's for sure the guy. Especially because your brain is telling you that, okay, well, the police have now said that it's sort of the guy. They haven't officially said that, obviously, but typically people would be like, yeah, that's okay, that makes sense, that's him. But in this situation, if you look at the comments on that post, half of them are like, that's not him.
Well, I do wonder. I do wonder if we've all been traumatized. But why he's got the same neck scarf, but not the same jacket, unless he's got a jacket underneath. Holy hell! All right, that's fascinating.